Hello from Dorset. I'm at Corfe Castle Railway Station. I am investigating locations for a future book which will be coming out next Christmas, and we'll have a Christmassy feel set on the Christmassy steam engine that goes between Swanage and Corfe Castle. And if I turn around, look, can you see Rollington Hill up behind me? Crime scene in the Corfe Castle murders. And here we go, that railway line takes us all the way to Swanage. Sadly, because it's a Monday afternoon in November, the railway isn't running today. I was really hoping to have a go on it, but no. Instead, I get to have a good old nosy around the station, which actually is quite good, because when there's nobody here, either working or visiting or travelling or anything, it actually means that you can have a really good sniff around. And down there in front of me, I'm going to spin you around again. Look at all these lovely old buildings. Here we go, Corfe Castle in all its glory. Down there, behind me, is a railway bridge that goes over a little lane called Sandy Lane. Now, Leslie has been up Sandy Lane before because she went up it to get to the Walkers car park to access Rollington Hill. In fact, I can see the TV mast up ahead, which is where one of the bodies in the Corfe Castle murders was placed. Leslie had to trudge up the hill there in mud, and she was not best impressed because it was her first case in Dorset and she wasn't wearing suitable shoes. She was used to working in Birmingham. By now, she has figured out how these things work and what she should be wearing. But the problem is, this particular mystery, it happens on the railway line, and quite a lot of people who are on the train are all dressed up in their finery for Christmas. So they're not wearing suitable shoes, and they're going to be having to get out of the train and walk alongside the track. In addition, Leslie and the team are going to coincidentally be on hand for very Christmassy festive reasons that I'm not going to tell you yet, because you'll have to read the book next year to find out. So anyway, I have been exploring Corfe Castle Station. My next job is to go down there to the bridge underneath the railway and have a good old look at some spots that I can use for emergency vehicles. I'm then going to go to Swanage, where I plan to identify where a character is going to live. A character who you've met before in a different location, but she's moving to Swanage and she's going to get involved in a mystery, so I'm really looking forward to writing about her again. But I'm not going to tell you who it is because I mean like that. So yeah, I'm having a lovely day on the Isle of Perbeck. All days on the Isle of Perbeck are lovely, even though it is very cloudy. The sun was shining earlier. I looked across the bay from Southbourne and could see that the sun was shining on Ballard Down, so I thought, you know what, I will get on the ferry, the lovely Sandbanks ferry, and I will head over to Perbeck because the sun is shining in Perbeck. And then it started to rain while I was on the ferry, so that wasn't so good. But anyway, it means it's nice and quiet, there's nobody around, so I can have a good old sniff around, get the roads and the stations and the hills and everything else to myself. I wonder if I'll get the beach to myself, or if perhaps I'll see Kevin. Hello again. So now it's later in the day. As you can see, it's getting dark and the lights are coming on. It's Christmas on the Isle of Perbeck. I am now, can you guess? I'm in Swanage. And I am walking past the buildings where the main character in this book is going to have a flat. Now, she's not somebody who's got a lot of money, so she's got this flat right on the seafront. Fantastic spot, because it's out of season and it's cheap. So she's not quite sure where she's going to end up living once the holiday makers arrive, but she's going to worry about that when she comes to it. But anyway, there are scenes in the book on the pier. Oh, look, there's the pier behind me. And there are scenes most definitely on the beach, because I love Swanage Beach. And there are also there's going to be a scene in the Wimpy in Swanage, because Swanage is the only place that I am aware of that has still got a Wimpy. I haven't seen a Wimpy anywhere else for decades. So please write in and tell me if you live somewhere that's got a Wimpy. But anyway, there are going to be scenes in the Wimpy, and there are going to be scenes right along here overlooking the sea. So this is the point where I get the full benefit of being able to come along here and having this, quite frankly, amazing job that allows me to walk along Swanage seafront on a Monday afternoon and call it work. So all I can say is thank you to you for buying my books and making it possible for me to fanny around in Perbeck when most people are sitting behind a desk in an office. And I am writing. I've just been in the Cornish pasty shop. I had a pastel de nata and a latte, very nice it was, and I wrote a chapter. I've uncovered a key piece of evidence which might actually be a red herring, but I'm not going to tell you that. And yeah, so what I do is I stop and write as I do these little research trips. I drive around a place, or I walk around, or sometimes I get buses or trains. If I could get the steam railway, I would, but sadly I can't today. And every now and then, if I pass a cafe or a pub or something, I will stop and I will write a chapter. And it's a damn fine way to work. There is a vague sunset behind me. It's the vaguest of vague. You do get beautiful sunsets if you're over there. Over in Bournemouth, the sunset's over here, over Perbeck, and it's quite spectacular. But now I'm looking over towards Ballard Down and Old Harry Rocks behind the headland, which have been in earlier books. And there's going to be reference in this book to the Monument Murders, book 4 in the Dorset Crime series, and to the fact that an architect was found draped over the globe in that one. But I'm not going to tell you any more in case I change my mind as I'm writing the thing, because I do that, and I'm not going to give you any spoilers. But now I'm going to head up to the station and do a bit of research up there. So now I'm at Swanage Railway, and I've just done something the lovely Sally laughs at me for, because I took a photo when I should have been recording this video. So I walked all the way along the side of the platform on this road that runs parallel with the station, with the platform, and talked to you all about the book, and none of it got recorded, which just goes to show how these videos are not slick and I don't have anybody helping me with them. So yeah, here is Swanage Station, which is where the train, the Christmas Carol train that our characters will be on, will start. Let me do a bit of a spin so you can see some more of the station. And down there, if you can just about make it out, there is a steam locomotive. So the engine behind me, I guess you'd call that a locomotive as well, is a diesel one. That looks like it's from the 1960s or 70s or something. Yeah, that's even older than the ones I used to get on when I used to go to school on the train. But you can see these old carriages, these green carriages here, and these would be the ones I imagine they used for the Christmas carol service and for the Santa service as well. But we're not doing the Santa service because the characters in my book are all a little bit old to believe in Santa. So yeah, they're going to get on Christmas Carol train and things are going to happen there. So I'm now heading back to my car and back to the warm, having explored Corfe Castle and Swanage and had a thoroughly lovely time. It threatened to rain a few times, but it didn't in the end. And yeah, this is why I love my job, because I get to do these research trips. But although I've been talking to you today about the Frozen Carriage, which is next year's Christmas book, don't forget there are already 2 Christmas books that you can buy, one of which came out last week, The Shattered Bauble. Oh, look at that sunset. Slightly distracted there, sorry. One of which came out last week, The Shattered Bauble, and the other one came out quite a while ago, Deadly Christmas. But if you hadn't read my Zoe Finch books, you can read Deadly Christmas without having read any of the rest. You don't need to, it's not part of the storyline for the series. So, I'm heading back to the car into the warm, and I will bid you happy reading.